Hello, this is a story of two developers, one using Subversion and the other using Rational Team Concert. Bob is our developer who uses Subversion. Karen uses Rational Team Concert. Today's task is to take over the work of other developers and share those changes with the entire team. Bob and Karen are the senior developers, and so they need to review the changes from Lou and Gordy before they're delivered to the entire team. Let's take a look at Karen's environment. She's using Rational Team Concert, and the first thing that she'll do is suspend the work that she's currently working on. Next, she will connect directly to another developer's workspace, in this case, Gordy, where she can then take in the changes that he's been making. She will then deliver those to the stream and to the rest of the team. When she's done with that, she will use the resume command to resume the changes she was making prior to looking at Gordy's changes. Let's review the sandbox architecture for Rational Team Concert to see how this is possible. Recall that the private sandbox for Rational Team Concert is made up of two components, one on the server and one on the client. So what this means is when Karen makes changes, they are safely stored on the server. Secondly, there are certain operations that Karen can use against her sandbox, such as suspend, which will take away those changes from her local workspace, safely store them in her repository workspace on the server, but get them out of the way so she can work on other things. And finally, through inter-workspace communication, she can directly connect her repository workspace to the workspace of Gordy or any other developer on her team. Now it's Bob's turn. Oh no, Bob cannot connect directly to another developer's working copy. Let's see what Bob would have to do and what Lou would have to do in this case in order to have the same effect. First of all, Lou would have to create a patch file in his environment of the changes that he was making, and then he would have to get that to Bob somehow. He would either send that in an email or place it on a FTP server or some means like that. What Bob would have to do is, first of all, create a new working copy without his current changes. So his current working copy already has some changes in it, and he doesn't want to confuse those with what Lou is doing. So he creates a new working copy. Then he can retrieve the changes that Lou has made, either via email or FTP. And then at that point, he can bring in the patch file into his environment. Then he can view and modify the code from Lou. And finally, he can commit those changes to the Subversion repository. The final thing he'll want to do is delete the temporary working copy that he made, and this is where he's got to be really careful. He needs to make sure that he deletes the correct one. Otherwise, the previous changes could be lost. And the bottom line here for Bob and Lou is that they have to leave their IDE environments in order to make this happen. They have to use some other means to exchange these files and changes. So the moral of our story today is Rational Team Concert is a safer environment. Once changes are in the repository workspace, they are safely stored, but they don't have to be shared with the rest of the team yet. So they're safe for problems such as a hard drive failure on the client side. Rational Team Concert is an easier environment to work in. When a change set is suspended, it's automatically removed from the local workspace. It's still safe on the repository, but it's out of the way, and it can easily be brought back with the resume command. Subversion developers will have to create multiple working copies to keep things straight, and they're all on the client side, so they're not as safe. And finally, Team Concert is a more productive environment because of things like inter-workspace communication, which allows sharing of changes with other developers before they get delivered to the stream and the rest of the team. So it's a more efficient and effective way to collaborate with other developers for such things as reviewing code. And Subclip's Subversion developers would have to go outside of their IDE in order to share code like this.